Hey all, I'm Kara Perez, founder of Bravely Go, and today I'm going to be breaking down my review of M1 financing. The thing is I get the question a lot of which brokerage is the best, like where should I be keeping my money? What companies should I be using? What banks should I be using? People seem very concerned around this. So I'm just gonna start a series where I review a bunch of different brokerages and walk you through how to open accounts there so that you can choose which one is best for you. Now, full disclosure, I will say that I personally do use M1. I also do personally use Vanguard. Are those necessarily the best for you? I don't know, I'm not sure. They're the best for me, but they might not be the best for you. So we're gonna walk through today how to use M1. So hopefully by the end, you'll be like, yeah, I'm into that. Or you'll be like, no, I'm not into that. M1 is a robo-advisor, and I can already hear a lot of you asking, but Kara, what is a robo-advisor? A robo-advisor is a brokerage that uses an algorithm to help their users develop an investment portfolio and to determine their level of investment risk. Some other really popular robo-advisors are Ellevest, Betterment, and Robinhood. And the difference between a robo-advisor and a sort of more old school brokerage is that the OG brokerages, and those are going to be companies like Fidelity and Vanguard, they have relied on humans to help develop their investment portfolio options and to help their users put together their personal portfolios since, the company was founded. Robo-advisors were born around 2008, and they use big tech to help skip past parts of the investment designing process that humans used to do. Robo-advisors have become hugely popular in the last decade, especially the last couple of years when the pandemic was really at its height and people were investing more from home. And that's largely because robo-advisors were much, much cheaper to get started with than a traditional brokerage in the beginning. Robo-advisors, since they were depending on an algorithm instead of a human, had fewer people they had to pay, which translated into fewer fees that they had to charge their users. Now, because of the kind of like robo-advisor revolution, a lot of the traditional brokerages have slashed their fees as well. So investing just overall is like pretty cheap to do, which is a win for us as consumers. Most robo-advisors use modern monetary theory, which is an economic theory, in their algorithm, and then they pair that with information that you provide. So when you first sign up, you're giving them information like, what is your level of risk tolerance? What is your investment timeline? And they'll take the answers that you provide, plug it into the algorithm, and then they will shoot out a portfolio that the algorithm has determined is best for you. So now that we understand what a robo-advisor is, let's turn our attention to M1. How is M1 different from any other robo-advisor on the market, and should you use them? Unlike other robo-advisors, M1 offers users the chance to either opt into a pre-selected algorithm-determined portfolio or the option to completely 100% DIY customize your own portfolio. This is one of my favorite things about M1 because a lot of the other robo-advisors out there only let you opt into their pre-selected algorithm designed portfolios. And you can't say, actually, I don't want to invest in this company. Let's take that out. You're stuck in the portfolio that they have chosen for you. M1 is not like that. You can choose one of those options, or you can be like, no, I'm going to totally DIY here. And I just like that flexibility. You can also set up auto investing with M1 so that you can just automate it if you want, meaning you say, I want $100 to come out on the 15th of every month and to go into this portfolio. And M1's like, great, got it, good. And you never have to think about it again. I mean, of course you should think about it again, but kind of lazy investing. I will say that M1 is not good for day traders. M1 only allows trades once a day, whereas a platform like Robinhood, you can be trading all day long, no problem, morning to night, trade on Robinhood. So I think overall M1 is a really strong robo-advisor choice because of this flexibility with how you can do your investing. So if you decide that M1 is right for you, how do you open an account at M1? Well, let's walk through the process. We've got a link in our description that will take you directly to M1, and once you are there, you will click on Get Started in the upper right-hand corner. Then you'll fill in personal information and answer questions like what your investment horizon is and your investment experience, meaning, have you already been investing for the last couple of years? Is this your first investment account? M1 wants to know kind of where you're at. Again, this is the algorithm at work. All brokerages ask for personal information such as your liquid net worth or your annual income, so don't be freaked out by those questions. That's not just M1. You're going to have to answer that at any brokerage that you open an account at. Once you've answered those questions, you will see this, and you'll have the option to link your bank account and start investing and building your portfolio. Now, like I said, I personally am a fan of the customized DIY portfolio, but if you're like, Kara, that's simply not for me, totally fine. This is where you're going to opt into one of their pre-selected pies. That's what they call their portfolios. They call them pies, which I think is kind of cute and a little bit kitschy. What you'll do is click on Invest and then Expert Pies. And as you can see, we've got a bunch of pies for you to choose from. If you're like me and you do want to go the DIY route, here's how you would do that. Here are the stocks that you can buy at M1. You can buy anything you want that's available in the stock market. So if you just scroll down here at the individual stocks, you're seeing it all, right? Amazon, Tesla, Visa, Walmart. If you scroll back up, in the search bar up here, you can also type in any funds that you're interested in. This is the Vanguard Growth ETF. The ticker symbol is VUG. And if you scroll down here, they've got the key data telling you the current price. You can read more on the company website if you want. But now you're going to click Add to Basket. And then down here at the bottom, click Add again. And now you can see here it's in your portfolio. So you have the option to nickname your portfolio here. So we are going to call this Retirement Riches so that we can be rich in old age here. You can also describe the portfolio if you want, and we'll just give this a little, badass grandma account. So right now we're 100% invested in our pie in the Vanguard Growth ETF. But if we add slice, we can pick Apple, we'll add that. And now you can see we're 50% invested in this Vanguard Growth ETF as well as Apple. And that's also reflected over here in the pie chart. So the two different colors represent your two different investments. Click Save. And voila! Now we can see this is your portfolio. Obviously, I haven't put any money in just yet, so nothing is reflected. If you want to do that, click Add Bank, and you will be taken to this page. You'll hit Continue, and you'll add your bank details. Hopefully, it's really clear to you now how to open and set up your account at M1. It really is very easy to use their interface, which is something that cannot be said of all brokerages. I do find M1 very millennial friendly, very Gen Z friendly. I like their user pages because there's a lot of empty space. It looks very clean, and I do think it's very intuitive. Now I want to walk through the pros and cons, because up until now I feel like I've been pretty complimentary of M1, but there are some things that I think are could be done better. So let me break it down for you. The biggest pro that M1 offers are low and zero fees. M1 really has, I don't know how they're doing it, frankly, but they're crushing it on the fee game. Fees are the number one thing that you should look for when you are choosing a brokerage and when you are choosing specific investments. And I want you to think of it this way. Let's say that you are at a brokerage and you have an investment portfolio and it gets you a 10% return, which is the average that the S&P has returned for the last 80 years. But let's say you're paying 2% in inflation. Let's say you are also paying 1% in taxes and 2% in fees. So now your 10% has become 5%. If you were at a low or no fee brokerage like M1, instead of paying that 2% in fees, you would be paying 0%. So really you would only have lost 3% instead of 5%. And even if 2% sounds kind of small, think about if you had $500,000 invested or $800,000 invested. All of a sudden, 2% of $500,000, that's a lot of money that you would rather have in your bank account rather than be paying in fees, right? Here, as you can see, these are M1 fees. So there are no fees for having the account. There is, however, an IRA termination fee. So if you do have an IRA at M1 and then you close it, There is a fee for that. And there is an outgoing transfer fee of $100 in addition to a $20 fee on accounts of up to $20 where no trading activity has occurred for 90 days. So basically M1 is penalizing you if you're not doing anything in a trading account for 90 days. They're like, come on, bud. Make a trade. That I think is the strongest pro of M1, it's low fees. Like I just mentioned, I also think it is very, very easy to use. And this is so important. It's not just about the good design or like the millennial clean space that I mentioned before, but a huge roadblock for people to investing is they log in and they're completely overwhelmed by all of the percentages and decimals that get thrown at them, all of the ticker symbols that look like weird code that you need to crack. It can stop people in their tracks when they log in. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. So they log right back out and then go watch some Netflix. That's not what we want. If you have a brokerage that you can't even use because the user experience is so intimidating, you're not going to build wealth. And so I really compliment M1 for how easy to use their platform is. M1 is free to use, which we love, but that means that you are inundated with ads. M1 really goes hard advertising their service that you pay for. It's $125 a year. It's called M1 Plus, and they get you with ads for it like every 3 clicks. And again, I get it. It's a free platform, so they have to make their money somehow. But it is a little bit, it's kind of like when you're on YouTube and you're using the ads, you haven't upgraded to YouTube Premium, and so you get like 3 ads in between each song, and you're like, oh my God, I wanna die. It's a little bit like that. Other con here is that there are no financial advisors or financial planning behind the scenes added as an option or as an upgrade. So a lot of the other robo-advisors, they do offer as kind of a bonus thing that you can pay for a consultation with a financial advisor. So you can sit down virtually with a person. At M1, you can't do that. I know some people love the 100% digital, 100% tech, and I know a lot of other people also like to sit down with a human and just walk through their options and their current strategy and make tweaks with another person. So I would definitely say not even having that as an option, it's a big con. The account minimum at M1 is $100. You can't put in less than that as your first deposit. And I would say that's a big con as well, because a lot of the other robo-advisors let you get started with $5 or $10, which is much more feasible to younger investors and to lower income investors. $100 for some people is quite a bit of money, and to have to put that in right away can feel kind of intimidating, or it can just be something that's not feasible for you right now, whereas $10, a lot more manageable for people. So the account minimum, I'd say, is a con. Final thoughts here on M1 Plus. So like I said, this is a thing you're going to get a lot of ads for. They're trying to upsell you to, is it worth it? Is it not? Let's run through really quickly. So M1 Plus is $125 a year, and it's M1's premium membership. And here's what you get. You get 1% interest on cash holdings, which is more than most banks are offering on their savings accounts right now. So I do like that. You get ATM fee reimbursement. So there are no fees to use ATMs. You have access to custodial IRAs for your children or dependents. At the free account, you don't get this. There are lower interest rates on margin loans. You have an M1 specific credit card that is linked to a checking account, and you earn 1% cash back on your credit card. There's no annual fee on the credit card, and members can earn up to 10% cash back for spending tied to companies invested through the platform. That's a really interesting thing. 10% cash back is very high. There are also something called smart transfers that are available to Plus customers, and they allow you to set a rules-based strategy to allocate your excess cash towards spending, maxing out annual IRA contributions, or investing in any of your brokerage accounts. You can think of this as kind of the rounding up feature that is common on like Acorns and stuff, so that you can say, all right, I have an extra $3, I want to invest that. Honestly, I do think that the M1 premium benefits are super awesome. $125 a year does add up after a couple of years. For 1 year of this, I think it's very, very reasonable. I think if you're going to have this for 30 years, that ends up being quite a bit of money that you're not investing. And it goes back to this idea of fees. If you're paying that 2%, 3% fees at another brokerage, That's quite a bit of money. I would say the M1 premium membership, M1 Plus, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. Overall, I think that M1 Plus is worth it. I know that $125 a year is a lot, and over time that definitely adds up, but the bonuses that you get for being a premium member really outrank that. I mean, the 10% cash back on your credit card spending, plus that 1% on any savings that you have, at least while Bank of America and Chase are offering 0.01% interest, 1% on your savings accounts is really, really high right now. So yes, you're paying this fee, and yes, that will add up over time, and I don't love that. But I do think that if you're strategically using the benefits that the M1 membership offers, it's going to be worth it. If you are not ready to use those bonuses, if you're not ready to get strategic about everything inside M1 Plus, don't use it. Just use the free side of things. Get started, kind of learn what you want, learn what you're about in the investing world, and you can always upgrade later. Or you never have to upgrade. It's not my money, you don't worry about it. Overall, I really like M1 as a robo-advisor. I think it does a really good job giving people control over their investments at a really affordable rate, which is free. That's it, y'all. If you learned something, please let me know in the comments. If you want to open an M1 account, like I said, we have that link in description, and let me know what you like or don't like about M1.